Hey everybody, welcome to Field Training with Hansy. Today we are going to take a look at what is ultimately one of your most important tools, the memo book. I have a note-taking system to show you guys, and let's dive in, shall we? So welcome to Field Training with Hansy, guys. I'll be your host, Hans Gruber, aka Hansy Heinzenberger. I'm also known as Brad. I'm one of the group admins. So without further ado, let's get into this. Today we are talking about memo books, which is arguably one of your most useful resources, one of the most powerful weapons in your arsenal. And I know a lot of people, when they think memo books, they think, oh my god, it's a memo book! And they get really stressed out, right? Yeah, there's a lot to know with memo books. There's a lot to learn, and there's so many different concepts and ideas out there, and it can be very, very overwhelming. And when you think, of doing this for a career, whether it's security or policing, so many different styles out there, and so many people will tell you your style's wrong, my style's right, and so on and so forth. Let me put that all to rest. There's a lot of great systems out there. Use the system that they want you to use where you work. Let's start with that. If you have free and open reign, I want to throw some concepts at you, right? So with that, let's get into what we call the ABCDEF note-taking system. So what we have here is a very simple concept. It relies on 6 different things that you are going to end up documenting one way or another in your memo book. A stands for actions, B stands for behaviors, C for communications, D for descriptions, E for evidence, and F is your final disposition. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one as action. Okay, and these are really straightforward things, What did you do when you were at the incident? What were the actions done by you, the guard? These are things like, when did you arrive? What did you do when you arrived? Once you had arrived and had established what's going on, what did you do next? Who did you talk to first? Who did you talk to after that? What actions did you take in between those things? Was this a fire alarm? Did you arrive on scene and note that there was smoke, so we started evacuating the lobby? Did you arrive to a medical incident and stand back to determine what the mechanism of injury is? There are so many things to document here, right? So A just simply stands for actions. What did you do? Okay, let's move along here. We also have behaviors. Behaviors is obviously letter B. What behaviors did you see in the victim or the casualty, the suspect, or other guards? These are things like hitting, yelling, screaming, pushing, etc. Maybe they're not doing either of these things. Maybe they're upset. Maybe they're kind of hiding from you in the corner. Maybe they're being evasive. There are so many different behaviors to note. You could even think to the use of force continuum and look at all the different suspect behaviors, from cooperative to assaultive or grievous bodily harm or death and everything in between, right? So we have here behaviors. It's important to note the behaviors of all the people involved because it paints a true and accurate picture to the total situation, right? The totality of circumstance, if you will. Next, we have communications, okay? What were the exact words spoken by you, the guard, the victim or the casualty, or the suspect? These things are really, really important. People have been convicted in courtrooms because of things they've said, whether it was an utter threat, or on the opposite side. I have seen things get thrown out of court because officers did not note down the exact words, or there was even a misspelling in the officer's memo books, right? As I mentioned, it's all about credibility with your notebook, guys, so accurate note-taking skills are absolutely vital and crucial here. It's really important that you're on the up and up when it comes to spelling, when it comes to making your notes. They have to be accurate. All right, so let's move along. Let's look at the next concept, which is descriptions. Okay, so what were the details of all that you did, saw, heard, touched, tasted, or smelled? So here we're basically using our senses, okay, on top of our basic actions here. What did you see when you arrived? Did you see a person on the ground holding their ankle and notice that there was swelling on their leg? Did you see a person fleeing the scene of a crime. What did they look like? How were they dressed? What were their behaviors when they were running? Did they stop, look, and acknowledge that you were chasing them? Did they run away because maybe they were scared of what was happening? Are they truly a suspect? There are so many things here to think about, right? So it's obviously important to note down descriptions, okay? And be detailed. Be very, very, very detailed, okay? Let's take a look at what's next, okay? We have evidence next. What were the things, all of the things that you saw at the scene? And I can tell you, no detail is too small, okay? Details are very, very important. We want to think things like, where did you find a specific item in relation to the scene? When you arrived on the scene, was a door open? Was there glass broken on the inside? Was there glass broken on the outside? It paints a complete and accurate picture. I can think of one instance. As many of you know, I was an auxiliary police officer with Toronto Police Service. One of my colleagues was working an auxiliary detail down at the beaches on Canada Day. Unfortunately, a shooting had taken place. A lot of people ran, and this particular officer noted something very specific in his memo book about a hat that he had found at the crime scene where people were running from. And it was that exact detail that actually led to a conviction, right? So these things are absolutely crucial. We want to think all of the details, be as absolutely specific as absolutely possible, okay? Let's move on to our last thing here, final disposition. How did you resolve this matter? What was your final action, right? And when we think note-taking, it's important to do a few things here. We want to be observant. Take in everything. You know, when I arrive at a scene and I do my scene survey, I take it nice and slow. I look around. I want to make sure that the area, the scene, as it were, is safe for me to be there, and it's safe for others to be there as well. Take everything in. How are people behaving when you arrived there? What was their reaction to you? Okay? Is there anything in the scene that doesn't look right, that doesn't look normal, that looks out of place? Does something not look right? You know, and when we think notes, be detailed. There is never enough. You can never write enough. I'll say that. Okay? I know there are people in here that they want to be concise. And sure, you want to be concise in your reports, but your memo book is an original record, so it really, really is important that you are as detailed as possible. Okay? Be objective. And what we mean by being objective is be fair. Okay? It is not our place to point fingers at people, to assign blame to people, to throw in what our opinion is about any particular situation. If you're as old as me, you might remember a show called Dragnet from way back in the day, and hearing Detective Joe Friday say, "Just the facts, ma'am." Right? Be objective. We only want to deal with the facts. No speculation, no opinions, no thoughts. Just the facts that took place. And lastly, be correct. It is absolutely important and crucial for your success in the courtroom that your notes are accurate and correct and factual. I know people, and I know others in this group know people who've had matters thrown out of court, who've had their credibility ruined on the witness stand over simple misspellings in their memo books, over simple misunderstanding of the facts. So it's important to be correct, okay? Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful for you in your adventure out in the field. Stand by. We have more content coming for you. This has been Field Training with Hansy. Hans Gruber signing out. Stay frosty, guys.